Hey guys, Jobin here. I wanted to share a funny little Sanremu knife with you today. I don't think this model has ever been popular. I never see discussions of it, and nobody has ever suggested that I carry it on my online store. But I've had it for quite a while, and I have always thought that it was just cool. So, here it is, okay? This is the Sanremu model 783. I think it's gorgeous. Now, let me say, I have shown this to people, and they've said they think it's ugly. Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion, even if it's wrong. Let me explain why I think this is just a great little design aesthetically. I like the fact that it looks like it was styled in another age. I mean, this looks like it could be from the Art Deco period or something. There's something about the combination of angles and curves that just doesn't look like your standard design today. I also really like how high contrast it is. You have that big difference between the black blade, the maroon handle, and the bright hardware, which I just think works fantastically. And because the scales are a little bit smaller than the liners, they poke out around the edges, creating this nice outlined appearance. It's very interesting. And by the way, before I forget to mention it, as far as build quality goes, all the corners on this thing are rounded. That's actually rare to see, especially on a cheap knife, and a lot more expensive knives too. Like if you slip the tip of your finger down in here, it's not sharp, nothing's grabbing you. All those edges are nicely rounded off. It is a lockback, and a slightly unusual one, which again, I kind of like for its quirkiness. That's the release lever right there. Push that down, and it releases. You might say, that's madness, it's exposed. Yeah, it is. But it doesn't really matter. At least not for anything you're likely to do with a knife this size and with this type of construction. For one thing, providing some resistance, at least theoretically, to closing, is the lanyard slot. Can't really call it a hole. So that right there, that's rigid and doesn't move. You have to go forward there and push down on that. The other reason it just basically doesn't matter is when you're actually holding the knife with this size and shape handle, unless you deliberately come up, actually, even if you try to like wrap your hand around and grab and pull from this kind of angle, like my fingers are going white trying to, it just doesn't work. It's surprisingly secure, despite the fact that the lock release is basically hanging out there in the open. Over on the other side, there is a long pocket clip which follows the curve of the scale. It's only one position, tip down carry. When the knife is folded, the awesome angles continue. There's just a really nice transition here from end of the handle to blade. Very pretty. And overall, I can't stress how much I like the angles on this knife. It's just so neat. This very interesting combination between, you got sort of geometric up here, and then it just flows into this curve. Then has the odd little geometric bits sticking off of it. I understand why it wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea, and I actually even understand probably why it was never popular. But that really doesn't stop me from thinking this is a beautiful little thing. If you want a practical cheap knife, honestly something like the 710 in the same price range is probably a little better mechanically. But if you want something that's still very, very cheap, but has an odd touch of class and some uniqueness to it, the Sanremu 783 is a very interesting choice. So, hope you enjoyed this look at it. This is Jobin signing off, saying, remember where your knife is.